Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lindsay, and if you couldn't tell by now, we are planning for March, and I can't believe it. 3 months down, guys. 3 months down, and we're already like zooming past the year, which I'm not gonna complain because I personally don't like the snow. So I'm glad that we're rolling right into spring. But if you're wondering what my theme is, where I got it from, where did this inspiration just come out of? Well, this is the sweater, My Neighbor Totoro. Like, I'm so excited. This is like my color combination. I love green. I love beige, cream, all that stuff. And as soon as I saw this, I was like, I have to do a theme. I just have to. So I basically made my theme around another Studio Ghibli movie. So if you're curious on how I created this theme, grab your journals, grab your pens, grab something cozy because the vibes are on. And if anything, onto the video.
So I feel like for March, we just end up going on this great track record of just like themes that make me super happy. And this one I'm so excited for, so pumped. I can't express it any more than that. I think this one might have to be like in my top or my absolutely like favorite theme ever. And that's saying a lot because I went in with an idea, I'll be honest, and definitely did not come out the way that it did, but I love the end result anyways because it is literally me, the epitome of me. I just love neutrals. I love green. Green is my favorite color, and it's been a minute since I've done anything like, I guess, movie related, anime, manga, and this time around I really had the itch to do a Studio Ghibli theme. Now it's been a hot minute since I've done one. The last one I've done was October of 2021, and I did that for my birthday, but since then I actually did a Studio Ghibli theme for September of 2020. I don't know if I still have the video up because that one was a bit rough, but you gotta start somewhere. What did they say? Like, practice makes perfect. So definitely my art style, my, I guess, just personality in my artwork has definitely changed, and this one literally, it just makes me happy. It gives me the butterflies and my heart is warm. Like, this is chef kiss. Now, after me rambling about how excited I am about this, let's just talk. So basically, I've been wanting to do a Studio Ghibli theme for a while. I just really love their movies, and I just really like the fun of doing it in general. So this time around, I ended up doing My Neighbor Totoro because I just felt like fate was screaming at me to do it. Now, the reason why I say that is because first, my boyfriend ended up buying us the movie a few months ago. And then during the holiday season, this new store opened up and it was selling anything that is like anime, manga, just very like alternative stuff. And when I went on their website, I saw this sweater. Now, this sweater, I'll tell you, it was a hassle to get this thing because I almost was going to just like screw it and forget about it, but I had bought the sweater back in like mid-December, and at the time, it was just super popular. Like, sizes were just being sold left and right, and I managed to snag one, and I really didn't get one because it was backstocked, and I didn't know that when I paid for it that it went backstocked. So I had to wait till literally the end of January to get my sweater, and the colors was just so on point. So it definitely inspired me to do this theme, and especially because neutrals is just my like comfort palette. You can't go wrong with a neutral, just anything. So I pretty much made my theme based around beige, brown, green, and you know, to give some credit to spring, I added a little bit of some yellow, pink, and blue. I also incorporated some of Notebook Therapy's newest release. I don't know what it's called. I probably might just have it in the description down below. But basically, it included this scrapbook booklet thing, and it had just different sheets of paper, and one of them I really loved. It was like this grid creamy, just I was in the mood for junk journaling, okay guys? Like, I don't know, I swear that I will never really do too much of it, but here I am, a classic offender. I ended up doing that. So yeah, I just pretty much incorporated doodling and junk journaling. But I really loved how it came out. I used my Tombow Fudenosuke pen because I wanted different types of lines. I wanted some thin ones, some chunky ones, just something that would really play on the doodling. But also, I just find that this pen is just super like pigmented in the black ink that I don't really get from my Pigmon pens. So yeah, I just think this is gonna be my all-time favorite when it comes to the pens that I use. Now, I really wanted to focus on keeping it very free floating in terms of space. So I didn't want to make it too cluttered. So I kept my doodles to a minimum and try to make them more of like the centerpiece of my spreads. So for my calendar layout, I definitely have been feeling the one-page calendar, and then basically on the other side of the page is where I will write down like important dates, memos to myself. I write down certain projects that I have to do, and I usually use my calendar itself to write down my schedules because I do get my schedules pretty advanced, so I'm able to just write that down. And it's just really nice. I don't know if I'll ever go back to a 2-page calendar because even though aesthetically it's nice, I just feel like it takes up way too much space and I don't know what to do with it. Like, it's almost like a waste. So I wanted to keep it down to a 1-page. Now here, I'm just kind of seeing like what stationery will match with my color palette, and I really wanted to stick within a neutral, almost like cool tone palette. So I was very careful not to go too warm. So yeah, basically I tried to keep everything very simple. I didn't really have much laid out. I just knew where the doodles were gonna go, and I guess like basic concept, like where the calendar is gonna go, certain boxes. But in terms of like design, where colors kind of go, definitely not me. Like, even though I like to plan things, I get too impatient. That's naturally like my character flaw. I am just too impatient, so I go straight into it. And I was pretty nervous because I was just loving how everything was turning out, that I was afraid that I was gonna mess up. And definitely with me writing out the title of March with this very weird handwriting, I don't know what it's called, I just kind of made it on the fly. It wasn't really supposed to be super chunky. It was actually supposed to be like my rubber stamps, but I just felt like it was not whimsical enough and it wasn't like on brand to the movie. So I definitely just made this like very chunky, weird, imperfect writing. So yeah, nothing too crazy with that. I also went ahead and ended up feeling like the pages were a bit too boring. So I put some borders. I kind of just spruce it up with just junk journaling, and you'll be surprised what your materials does for your layout because it really brought it to life. And at this time, I really was loving this layout. I thought nothing can really take this really further than it can. I don't know, I love it. I'm doing my playlist spread, and between my playlist and my habit tracker, I actually struggled with how I wanted it to look entirely. I definitely knew what I wanted in the beginning portions of my plan with me and towards my weekly spreads, but with these two bad boys, I really did not know what I wanted to do. So pretty much when in doubt, just did some layering with my materials, and I did not know what I was doing. At first, I thought I knew, and then I ended up hating it. And once I just kind of kept going with the flow, it actually turned out really nice. So I wanted the header to be as busy, I guess obnoxious for some people, but I definitely wanted it to be the focal point because I just wanted everything else to be very minimal, just because I did not know what I wanted to do. I had a basic idea of how I wanted to look, but I didn't know if I wanted to incorporate doodles or stickers or washi tape. I really didn't know. So I kind of was taking step by step, seeing how I was feeling certain things. But at this point in time, I really did like how this layout looked. It was just very on par. Like, it gave me minimalist, it gave me pops of color, it gave me like just a calming effect, because I was thinking for my habit trackers to be the more craziest thing between the two. And I ended up not really doing that. So yeah, at this point in time, I did not know what I was doing. I was just thinking on the fly because I had no other option. And I was thinking, since I kind of already had so much going on with the junk journaling, that I was losing my doodles. And I didn't want that, because I know myself, if I incorporate one thing more than the other, then my theme is just gonna get lost in that one aspect that I'm like overdoing it. So I wanted to go back to my doodles, and I was actually inspired by like the Studio Ghibli sunflowers with the clouds, hills kind of scenery. And I was nervous because I'm not the best when it comes to, I guess, like doodling something like that. And I was afraid of my sunflowers looking like flowers that we've all drawn in like the first grade, where we just keep adding petals on petals on petals, and it just looks ridiculous. That's how I kind of felt. So I had to be very, very careful on how I did it, because at least for me, I feel like sunflowers are easy to paint, like watercolor wise, versus doodling. But I actually did like the effect that it gave, because it gave this almost softness, since I didn't went ahead and color it all. I just did little bits of color here and there, but I still was feeling like I was missing something overall to the theme. So I kind of went back to my materials and really relied on the tan or craft paper that the Notebook Therapy like bound booklet had, because one, I just love that color. It's so good. And it was actually, I guess, like pungent enough for what the spread was missing. And you'll kind of see that in a little bit as I kind of get to that area. I still really liked how I've been doing my habit trackers, and this time I was like, no, I have to do something different. I can't just be doing grids, drawing them, because at that point I feel like it's gonna be repetitive and I'm gonna end up hating it. So I ended up just making them and pasting them into my journal, and I love the effect. Like, it is so good. I literally was just like outdoing myself. I was like, okay, I really love this more than my last layout. I cannot outdo myself. And of course, at the time, Lindsay had to outdo herself. So now we make it to my weekly spread, and since I've been kind of getting more busy, I cannot really rely on just doing 1 week planning. I just can't, because I'm gonna fall behind and I'm not gonna really be able to catch up. So I ended up resulting to a Dutch door, which is not too bad for me because I really love Dutch doors, but I wanted to be creative. I wanted to be spontaneous and still played on to theme. So I ended up doing this cute little scenery and still almost made it seem like a story. Like, since my habit tracker in my playlist had the fields with the sunflowers and the clouds, I wanted to progress that into my weekly spreads. I ended up drawing these two characters because I just felt like they were proportionate enough for my spread, but also because I wanted to incorporate as many elements of the movie as possible without looking too cheesy. So I ended up doing this scenery, but where I was actually going to use my X-Acto knife to cut it out to make the Dutch door. Now, it may seem like a lot, so if you guys are not really into doodling, you can just make like the blades of grass and make it just more of a field. Now, the blades of grass were the hardest part personally for me because I'm too much of a perfectionist and I need to make sure that everything is consistent. Oh my god, like I was just going in like mindlessly with these blades of grass because the key is not perfection, it's not symmetry, it is not anything. It is just super whimsical. Like, I was going more for, if you guys have seen the cover of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like the book itself, you see all these hash marks and different squiggly lines and lines on top of lines. That's what I was going for. And I just went aimlessly with my pen, so I'm glad that that effect kind of translated to my spread because it just worked with what I had in mind. So I just kept it very simple, added a few elements of my junk journaling, but really wanted to focus more on the simplicity because I really didn't want to overdo it because I already felt like I was doing way too much at this point, but still kind of giving the focal point to my drawing. This process literally had me sweating bullets. So basically, I put a piece of paper underneath my bullet journal page and I carefully used my X-Acto knife and just kind of outlined my doodles. It wasn't anything in particular, but I pretty much just wanted to cut away the whole top portion. And I removed the paper so it doesn't actually ruin the next page. So basically, I just redid the doodles again. I just freehanded them and tried my best to get closely as similar as possible. And I went ahead and put a task section on the upper right hand corner just because I am having the spread for 2 weeks, so I want to have some extra space just in case if I have to designate some certain things for some certain days. And then I kept it very minimal. I just applied some washi tape and some stickers. And here's my flip through for March, and honestly I think this has to be like top tier or maybe even like my #1 most favorite theme that I've done. And I'm just more shocked at how simple it looks but how cute it is, and definitely it did give me that sense of Studio Ghibli that I was just itching for. So I'm hoping you guys really do enjoy it because I really did. And hopefully, let's see what I can do for April. Until then, bye!